Hello, my fellow Americans. It is the 16th of January, 2025, and this is A Quiet Rage. This is my last episode before the inauguration, which I have mentioned before I will not be attending. I wasn't able to reserve myself a seat at this event, to which I will not attend, but I'm certainly not going to be watching it on TV. I'm not going to be consuming it in any way, shape, or form. And I recommend to my fellow lefties that you don't either. Don't give this thing any oxygen at all, if you can possibly help it. To anyone who didn't vote for Kamala Harris in the most recent election, the next 4 years and the fallout therefrom it's going to be your fault. I just want you to understand that. I will blame you for everything that happens. This is what you wanted. You wanted a man who had showed you in his first administration that anyone who challenged him, who said no to him, who tried to be the adult in the room, if he could possibly find a way, he would fire them and try to make them look stupid on the way out. You re-elected a man who we know is an idiot, who we know is mean, who's a bully, who does whatever he thinks will please the people that are going to praise him. That's who you reelected. So a lot of bad things are going to happen. Project 2025 is the strategy. We know this. You can't deny it if you want, but you're going to look stupid trying to do it. Things are going to get real dangerous for trans people, especially trans kids in this country. We've already seen legislation mandating that somebody is going to have to examine the genitalia of hopeful participants in girls' sporting events, high school girls' sporting events. Somebody's going to have to examine their genitalia. This is where we are. I mean, you know what's coming, right? You know the headline that's coming. That somebody mandated, not just one somebody, several somebodies mandated by this law in whichever state it is or whatever jurisdiction, several somebodies are going to be accused, found guilty of some pretty horrible things because they were put in a position where they were in a room with these young people and they have to show them their genitalia. That's the only reason they're there. It's going to be a traumatizing thing for anybody that has to go through this. And I'm telling you, we've got 4 years. That's going to be the tip of the iceberg. And if you didn't vote for Harris, it's your fucking fault. Yours. Don't forget that. I won't. We already know that gay marriage is going to be possibly challenged. We know this. It's already being challenged. That's part of the playbook. And that's one of many, many things. But anyway, I'm done talking to you for now. To my fellow lefties, to the sane people in the room, there are some horrible things going on in the world, not the least of which is the wildfires that continue to burn. They were burning when I filmed my last episode. They're still burning. They are not fully under control. I highly recommend, if you've got a couple extra bucks and you want to do something to help, I highly recommend donating to the American Red Cross. They are on the ground. They are doing good things, helping people in every way that they possibly can. I will put a link in the description where you can go to donate. If you're feeling like you need to do something and you're at the cash register and the cashier says, "Do you want to round up for whatever charity?" It's easy to do and it feels good because you are donating us, an amount you're probably not going to miss. But I would recommend, I would ask you to reconsider, not do that, because what you're actually doing, it feels good, I know, but it would be better all the way around if you would donate to that same charity or do a little research and donate to something like the Red Cross, something that is established and well known, rather than giving money to whatever grocery store or conglomerate or whatever large corporation you are ultimately funding their charitable donation. Make your own donation if you can. That's just my... Don't fund some rich guy's donation. Don't do that. The other thing I have for you, I had recommended to me a YouTube channel. It's called Innuendo Studios. And in particular, a playlist that's called the Alt-Right Playbook. And it's 24 episodes, goes back 4 or 5 years, I think, to the first Trump administration, talking about Charlottesville, things like that. And the most recent episode was only 3 months ago. So it's been ongoing. That's not the only thing that this guy does. I forget his name. Again, I will link this in the comments as well, or in the description. It's 24 videos, and the longest of them I think is almost an hour long, and it's a deep dive into something called Gamergate, which I was only sort of aware of, but it really peels back the layers of the onion on some of the culture, the toxic culture online. And it's one kind of contained situation, Gamergate, but it's emblematic of the way a lot of young men especially behave online when they think they can do so anonymously, and they don't care if somebody else gets hurt. They'll dox somebody, which if you don't know what doxing means, it is finding someone's home address or where their kids go to school or something like that and posting it on social media, on a forum somewhere, in an effort to make it easy for fellow lunatics, fellow assholes, to send threatening letters, or if they live nearby, to drive by at 4 a.m. and honk their horn or go ring the doorbell incessantly. It is targeted harassment is what it is. But it happens online, so it's easier to be anonymous. It's in chat rooms and things like that. It's not necessarily on Facebook. It's not necessarily a place where your profile is a picture of you. Anyway, I recommend watching the videos. I'm not even through all of them yet, but I recommend this playlist, this channel's playlist, because it really it really breaks down to brass tacks a lot of the things. It's the alt-right playbook. It's how people in the alt-right say incredibly incendiary things, but at the same time they're like, what are you talking about? That's not what I mean. It's dog whistles. It's how they get away with it. Anyway, it's a lot of things that I kind of knew on a certain level, but he puts it into words that really make more sense. And his research is really good. His production value is really good. And the reason that I'm telling you is because I want you to watch some of these videos, and I want you to share some of them with your friends, some of your like-minded people that are on the fence too. Like, well, these people, they say they're being labeled as the alt-right, but are they really? Well, show them a couple of these videos. Say, does the person we're talking about, does this good person, does he or she engage in these behaviors that are lined out in some of these videos? It'll be helpful, I think, in identifying the way some of these people behave and who they really are. So that's what I have for you this week. When I first started this channel, I did promise that I was going to, I didn't promise. I said that part of what I was going to do with this channel is try to find ways and broadcast ways for us on the left, us sane people, which you don't have to be on the left to be a sane person. My parents are both lifelong Republicans. They're conservative. But they dislike Trump. They are anti-Trump just as much as I am. Because they realize that he is what he is. He's a bully, and he's an idiot, and he's mean, and he's lacks entirely for intellectual curiosity. So when I say people on the left and sane people, that's what I mean. I mean people that understand that this guy's dangerous and bad things are going to happen with him in office. Anyway, so I'm going to try to get back to kind of doing a little more of a deep dive on something like the Red Cross or Innuendo Studios to give you some metaphorical bullets for your metaphorical gun to fight these actual fascists. It hurts my heart to know that this is my last episode of the Biden administration. It hurts my heart to know that when next I speak to you, we're not going to be able to turn on the radio or the TV or get on social media without another President Trump said something incredibly mean or racist or sexist or stupid or ignorant or. It breaks my heart. It really does. But that's the situation. I will always advocate for finding like-minded people, as I've said in previous episodes. If you Google the city or the county or whatever municipality, whatever reasonable sized jurisdiction you live in, and Democrats or Democratic group, or you should find some group that you can join. Maybe it's 4 people that get together at the library and just talk about how this is fucking insane that we elected this guy again, despite knowing all of the things wrong with him. Maybe you'll get lucky like me, and there's a local Democrats group that is 400 and some strong. Either way, find those people, and if you don't go to every meeting, that's fine. It's okay. If you're just on if you get in a Facebook group with my local Democrats have a Facebook group, I'm going to join as well. But gather in some way, whether it's physically, whether it's electronically, whether it's just texting people. Find your like-minded people and stay together, because it's gonna seem they're gonna get even louder. The Trump train is gonna get even louder, and the people riding it are gonna get even dumber and more boisterous. So find your people, find the sane people in the room, and hang out with them. And at every possible opportunity, point and laugh at those people with the Trump flags. Because ridicule, believe it or not, ridicule is a powerful and useful tool for making stupid people who have done something stupid, like re-elect Donald J. Trump to the presidency. It is a powerful and useful tool for making them feel like the idiots they are. And don't feel bad. Do not feel bad for them. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing, and they deserve ridicule. I will not back down from that. And I think, now that I think about it, I'm going to dedicate an episode to, in the future. So I've got 2, now that I think about it, 2 dedicated episodes that I'm going to do. One that I already had planned was talking about what's called incels, involuntary celibate, which is mostly young, mostly white, mostly male, almost exclusively males, who have managed to make themselves through their bigotry, their misogyny, their sexism, their ignorance, have managed to make themselves involuntarily celibate, because no woman who's worth a shit wants to hang out with them certainly not for a second date. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to do a dedicated episode to incels, how some of the ways that they are created, how I was dangerously close to becoming one myself, and the paraphernalia, the periphery, rather, of incel culture. You want to talk about a deep, dark rabbit hole to go down. That's one of them. So I'm going to do that. I already had that planned. I'm also going to do a dedicated episode talking about how ridicule can be a useful and effective tool to bringing down ridiculous right-wing propaganda and movements, such as the KKK in the first half of the previous century. There's a really fun story about how the code words that were being used in the KKK were used in radio broadcasts for, I think it was Superman. I forget. Anyway, I'll dive deep into it, and I'll have the whole thing for you. But anyway, so those are 2 things that I'm definitely going to do a deep dive on. And as I said, I'm gonna try and have a rallying point, something like the Red Cross or Innuendo Studios, if not something that we can do, something that we can see, something that we can consume to buoy our spirits. Yeah, that'll be... I'm actually now, so yeah, I'm looking forward to this now. So part of the reason that I started doing this for myself, the selfish part of it, was to not sit around, to not doom scroll Facebook or Bluesky. Fuck Twitter. I'm not doing Twitter anymore. You know, I want to put my Bluesky handle in there too if you want to try and find me there. To not do the doom scrolling, to not watch the news and just be exasperated, but to actually, for myself, to have something to do. So I wanna really focus on that and have one good thing that I can give you each week, each episode. I may not have an episode each week, but each episode have one thing to give you, and it not just be something that you know, please donate to this. Although things like the Red Cross definitely do need, especially now that apparently aid dollars to places like California are going to be contingent on obedience, because that's always just, again, if any MAGA voters are still hanging on here, this shit's your fault. If people in California who, regardless of who they voted for, are delayed in getting aid because the president is miffed, is having a snit, that kind of stuff is your fault. Anyway, if you're a lefty, if you are a sane person like myself, like so many people, more people than you think, keep your powder dry. Keep your quiet rage. Keep fighting these fascists. And I mean that not in a physical way. Don't condone violence. Resist. Resist this clown and his circus and all the stupid that's going to come with. I wish you nothing but the best. Good night, my fellow Americans.